what can you say about this team and the season you've had and kind of the story of this 2023 Ticats team?
Well, there hasn't been a lot of time to reflect. I think the last 24, 48 hours it's a mixture of it's tough. Got a lot of wave of emotions. Fell short of the goal. Lots of disappointment. You kind of go through all the emotions. With that being said, all of a sudden you got the exit team meeting. You're meeting with players. Everybody wants to kind of know their future. There's just a lot of moving parts over, so you don't have the exact 24, 48 hours to reflect on the season per se. You're really meeting with individuals, coaches are meeting, and so your day becomes extremely full. When it comes to the 2023 season, it's, this could be a half hour chat. I mean, obviously not good enough. Does that mean that I'm not, proud of the organization, the staff, the adversity that we overcame? Extremely, extremely proud. And I can go into fine pictures and details about the why, but just where we were injured, the players, the people that stepped up, the job the coaches did, the therapy staff, our high performance team, our doctors. It's such a collective effort. And the way everybody rolled up their sleeves and responded when externally we were done. And it's a sports entertainment business, and I do understand that fan is really short for fanatic, and so there were times the product wasn't what it needed to be, but everybody behind the scenes rolled up their sleeves, and for that I'm proud, and it showed at the end. We were able to find a way to put ourselves in a position to still achieve our goal, and we fell short. So I'm proud of everybody.
What can you say about, you talked about adversity and this team fighting adversity throughout the season, but what can you say about the team and in those times of adversity being able to step up, especially in that second half?
Well, I mean, it's hard to sum it up, but I mean, we spend time on this though, right? Like, we spend time and we know that so it's not just saying as a blanket statement you're going to deal with adversity, because it comes in different forms and at different positions and with different people and organizationally, and things happen. So it's really about the adversity response and how are we doing that. And we create no excuses, and it's always going to start with the right mindset. So I can't say enough great things about that. And every team goes through theirs, but everything's not equal. And so, again, just super proud, and going into specific individual examples would take forever.
Coach, when you look at your staff, I guess you look at this whole team, the only certainty this offseason is going to be change. And does that suffice to say that there will be changes this offseason?
You're talking staff-wise?
Team, everybody.
I mean, Dan, it's true every year. There's always change. That's the one thing that during the team meeting I always say is that this group will never be the same. There's always going to be change, and that doesn't matter when you win the Grey Cup. I've been part of those. It doesn't look the same, and it's for a myriad of reasons, So, yeah, the easy answer is, of course, there's going to be change, and that's just happens every year in football.
Is there a way that you can see Scott Milanovic staying with the Ticats in 2024? His name has been linked, obviously, to the coaching vacancy in Regina. And
right.
He is a former head coach.
Right.
Is that a priority for you to find a way to keep him here?
Yeah, I'd love to keep Scott, but we love to see people flourish and see what they can do, what's best for their family. Scott and I's relationship is phenomenal. Just extremely grateful that he was willing to come in here and help and be a part of it. I'd love to see Scott back, but at the same time, we don't hold people back. We encourage people to go out and soar. So, I don't speak on where he may be a candidate or where he may not. I'm just saying any opportunities that come up for our staff, we're always extremely supportive of that. That doesn't mean that we wouldn't put together something to try to keep Scott aside, other people that we want, but at the same time, totally understand, having been in that situation before, when you're supported and when you're not.
Bo had some comments. I'm sure you've seen them. Wondered what you felt about that.
At the end of the day, I don't have any comments on Bo's comments, right? Like, but what I love about Bo is he speaks from the heart and from the sleeve, and, and he's going to wear everything on his sleeve. Bo came and sat in my office yesterday. We got an outstanding relationship. We text message all the time. So there's, I think that if you asked him, it was taken, there was a longer conversation there. I think it was taken in the context that anybody wants to take it in. Bo was in my office for 30 minutes yesterday, and it was just like we were sitting there having a beer. So there's no challenge there.
Standing where you are right now, and I realize there's a lot of stuff that's going to be done in the next 2 or 3 weeks.
Sure. Maybe.
Maybe. I mean, you got to analyze stuff. But,
right.
Bo's back next year?
Yeah, Bo's a Ticat right now. He's under contract. There's, the way things worked out this year, it wasn't ideal for anybody, including Bo. And, from the injuries to coming back to another injury to the East Final. It didn't turn out ideal, or how anything that we envisioned. It was far from that. But we didn't sign Bo to a 1-year deal, right? So Bo's a Ticat, and that's what it is right now.
You referred earlier to everybody goes through injuries, but it's not all equal.
Mm-hmm.
Certain times you get too many in one spot or against key guys and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Could you rank the adversities maybe 1, 2, with the injuries to the quarterbacks be number 1 or
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's the number 1.
Absolutely.
Anything else? Or would you go?
Yeah, I mean, these are fair questions, Steve, but it's just hard. I'll be honest and be vulnerable, right? Like, it's hard to talk about those things because they're uncontrollable factors. But I can just tell you that teams historically that don't have a quarterback and don't have strong tackle play, it's tough. It's tough.
And you had injuries at tackle as well.
Yeah, like Figs went down and those, but that doesn't mean you can't win. Do you see what I mean? And so none of that matters. We're very confident going out, and we know that despite all the injuries at key spots or people that we may have built the team around, we are truly, not as a slogan, but we're just the next person up. So why we call it the waiting room. I think there's only 1 or 2 people that didn't get seen this year. And other than that, we relied on all of them. And that's just not at those positions, Steve. Like, as I call them, because in my room I have the red magnets for the national players or for the Canadians. There's only so many of those to go around, and so when you start getting hit in those spots, and this isn't a Hamilton. Like, look across the league. There's a lot of people that are scrambling, and there's some names that maybe weren't. You're getting a lot of people off the couch, is what I'm trying to say, and so that's gonna affect your football team a little bit. But with all that being said, that doesn't mean you can't win and you can't find a way to win, and that type of adversity I'm super proud of, because, again, at the end of the day, you have to get a ticket to the tournament, and we found a way to punch our ticket to the tournament. We didn't capitalize on it, and that was disappointing.
How much of a gap is there between you and Montreal/Toronto in 8 games, no wins? How big do you see that gap? Is it as big as we see it from the outside?
No. I don't know. I can't speak for how people see it on the outside. The record is the record. That's kind of a wildly embarrassing statistic. I feel like there's only a couple of those games we weren't in. I feel like that's the truth. Those are the facts. The facts also is that it's not good enough, and it's got to show up in the win column more often there. But it didn't happen. And, you look at the way games swing, and even in the East Final, yeah, I understand what the final score was, but that's not how the game was. At the end of the day, a loss is a loss. But not all wins are equal either, So sometimes you win ugly, and I'd rather win ugly than lose any kind of way. And that's the truth. But, you know, we're 1 or 2 games away from a home playoff game, but we have to handle our business against the Eastern Division opponents. There's no gray area there. I think Toronto's an extremely talented team. I think there's a reason for their record. There might be a little bit more bigger gap there, to be honest with you, and that's not anything against Montreal. It's just my personal opinion. I think they prove that, and their record shows it. I think they have a lot of talent. I think they have confidence, but everything's a one-game season now.
Yeah, my final one. Oh, sorry. No, Louis, sorry, Dominic, go ahead.
No, just Coach, you talk about culture a lot, obviously, and,
Yeah.
and how you built your team and the pride you have in your team, fighting through adversity, getting to this point. But when the results don't come,
Yeah.
how do you kind of keep promoting that culture? It might not be a winning culture right now, but how do you still take pride in the culture that you built, even when you don't get those results?
I think it's real simple. It is a winning culture. So your definition of winning was going to be different than my definition of winning. So I think it is a winning culture, and I think it's better explained by the people that help build it. And culture is the word that everybody uses, but I truly believe that you create an environment, and the result of it is your culture. So you create a place that people want to be. Yes, I understand completely that I'm here to win championships. Let's start with that. But you can't focus on that. There's everything that goes beneath that. And there's something you have to stand for. There's a foundation that you have to build. What is it? And this isn't just the players. This is coaches. This is therapists. This is equipment. This is strength and conditioning. This is the operations, the video. That's it. It's not coaches, players, football. Because I'm in front of the camera right now, but I'm in front of the camera because of the work that everybody else does behind the scenes, period. That's communications. That's people doing our social media. It's a collective effort, and that's winning to me. It's got to show up in championships, and it's far too long, period. Totally get that. But there's only one champion every year. And so I take pride in when I was entrusted with this organization that we're going to build this thing from the inside out, and we're going to do a deep clean. And so that when you go through times like this, you're not working on changing the foundation. The foundation is always and continues to be solid. So we're going to continue to add value to value. Ultimately, this is a sports entertainment business. We're paid to win. I think if you talk to the people that come to work every day, when they pull in their parking spot, they genuinely want to be here. And that, to me, is winning.
What's your message to fans?
As far as,
What would you want to say to fans who are upset with the way the season ended?
I just said it. I understand. Fan is short for fanatic. They deserve a champion. But they can be assured that we're doing what we can do. The proof is the results. Duly noted, right? But there is this thing is you don't wave a wand. There is no magic potion. You don't rub a lotion on your hands and then you win. This is a game that's played by people, and people aren't perfect. They're not, right? And so you know what you sign up for. And so to the fans, I say I appreciate their passion and wanting a championship and having an opinion. That's what a fanatic is. That's what you do. That's what they pay their earned money. I don't have a challenge for that. There's nobody that wants to win more for this city and for Bob Young and Scott Mitchell and Alan and all the managing partners and Jim and for the city of Hamilton than I do. That's what we wake up and do. And that's the staff and everybody else. And that's the messaging is I get it. They're paid to have an opinion. It's not going to change. It's not like we've been cutting corners and, okay, now we're going to work hard. We're grinding. We're grinding. There's one champion. There's going to be one color of confetti that falls. That's sports. As long as they keep score, it's a zero-sum game. There's a winner and a loser. And I think what happens in football is you don't get a chance to redeem yourself as quick. You say, what does that mean? In football, if you lose 2 games in a row, you're basically a loser for, well, I don't know, 18 days. So you've got your 2 weeks that you lost plus the lead up to the next game you play. If you lose 3 in a row, you might be a loser for 20 days. If you don't have a strong environment culture, you can't survive that stuff. If you take another sport, you're playing 2-3 games a week. So if you lose, you can make up for it in 2 days. That's what makes football so unique. And so that's what I would say. I appreciate the fans and their passion. They deserve a champion. And what I also learned about fans is they had things to say when we were 15-3 and broke a record and won the most games and we were undefeated at home. They still had stuff to say, and that's what fans do. And so I don't have any challenge with that. That's when you stand up here, you sign up for that. So we're grinding. The goal is to win championships, period.
It may be hard, this may be unfair, to isolate, given what you've just spoke about with the web of interconnectivity of all the things that make up the sense of a team.
Mm-hmm.
But this is and you do look at everything deep every year, but as the head of football ops, will you look even deeper this year in that it's the second year in a row at 8-10?
It's not all equal. The 8 wins aren't. 8 wins are whatever you want to call it, analytically or whatever, are 8 wins. How they come each year are always different. We have no desire to be average, but we also have no desire to ever miss the playoffs and not have an opportunity to win a championship. So you have to get an X by your name, meaning get in the playoffs before you can get a Y by your name. Now, Toronto ran away with it this year. So there is no buy into the Grey Cup, though. You have to earn your way there and win it. So I would say that, yeah, you're always looking to get better and to take a deeper dive. I don't even know if that's accurate. Like, we do that every year, right? Regardless of title. You know, I was taking a deep dive when I was the D coordinator, trying to be better. As the DB coach, as the head coach, adding a title doesn't make me dive deeper. It makes, you know, I'm always going to self-reflect. I'm going to be my own worst critic. And, you know, yeah, 8-10, I don't know, is 10-8 better? I mean, is 11-7 better? Is 12-6 better? Because here's what's unique. This is something that I've always thought was a little bit unique. If I said to you all, how do you feel about losing a third of your games this year? If we lose a third of our games, you guys would probably all say, that doesn't sound very good. But if I said we were going to be 12-6, you'd probably say that's okay. Well, 12-6 means you lose a third of your games. But most people would say that usually gets you the division. That's pretty good. But the thought of losing a third of your games doesn't sound very appetizing. So you got to keep things in perspective a little bit.
Like baseball.
Sure. I'm not
You spent the
going
whole time saying how it was like football.
Sure.
But what I'm saying is 1-3 is great in baseball.
Yeah, if you go 3 for 10, you're going to make millions of dollars. If I give up 3 touchdowns as a DB, I'm going to get fired. It's not equal. And,
Can you touch on some of the brights? I mean, you mentioned your quarterback situation. A guy like Taylor Powell,
Yep.
you probably wouldn't even have expected to start a game this year going into camp, right? You have Bo Levi, you have Matt. What did you see from guys like him, like Flowers, just some of the bright spots of a season that you can take away from here?
oh, man. I hope you guys got a lot of tape or battery power. Taylor was, you could really just rewind my old interviews. He just was a pro from the beginning. He's a sponge. He loves football. His care factor's high. When his number was called, he did a great job. He went through a coaching change, had to go through that. I think he was tops in the league for a while there in completion percentage. I mean, Scott, you know, obviously deserves a lot of credit there. Nothing, people say, well, what have you noticed different with Taylor? Not a lot, because he was already doing those things as a backup. Carthel Flowers reminds me a lot of Tyrese Beverett when he was here. Just an athlete running around, not sure what he's doing. And just making plays. And, that's a huge bright spot. We had 2 young tackles that played. It's not just the young guys. There's bright spots everywhere. The acquisition of Butler was unbelievable. He's an even better person. I know his play was that. Schultz came in. That was a huge acquisition. He was sought after by a lot of people, and all he did was come in and do his thing and battle back from what we thought was maybe career-threatening and for sure season, and then he comes back and he does a fantastic job. Casey Sales had an unbelievable season, flew under the radar all year. How about Simone Lawrence's bounce-back year? Katzentonis coming. Our secondary is, I don't even know. You probably couldn't name the names, right? They're super young. So many bright spots. And, I'm leaving people out. I could keep going down the line on both sides of the ball and special teams. I mean, we had a punter leave. We had a kicker leave. And so the guy, we trade for Vedvik, and we bring in Legio, and he's on fire. Then he goes ice cold, and he finishes hot. Like, that's stuff you don't prepare for. That's what I'm proud of. Those things, like, those are things you can't prepare for. So there's so many bright spots. I'm proud of the coaches. Like, yeah, you could tell. Like this, I love coming to work every day. I love the challenge. I love the people. Proud of the product, and I'm going to miss so many bright spots. But I could just go on and on, really.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks.
All right. Thank you. Yeah, of
Thanks
course.
for the whole year.
Yeah, thank you. Oh, appreciate it.
Thanks.
Wasn't here, mind you, but,
Yeah.
thanks, Coach.
All right. Thank you. Being here. All right. Happy holidays.
Wander, any other?
What's that?
Anything bring out Sim?
Well, I'm thinking, thank you.